cops and that it needed to be taken care of.
Okay.
And the next thing I knew, I was coming home from work. And when I got home, he was in my apartment. And KJ was already dead. In my bedroom. And he forced me to help him move KJ.
I'm sure this is very difficult for you.
No, I don't.
When detectives encourage her to give her side of the story, they frame confession as a form of moral balance. Under moral licensing theory, when a person feels morally tarnished, they may confess or partially admit wrongdoing to restore their internal moral identity. This tactic can draw out emotional admissions, especially from suspects who see themselves as victims.
Do you know what had happened?
No. I know I seen a bag over KJ's head.
You saw what?
A bag.
A bag.
What kind of bag?
I don't know. It's just a bag. It's the white bags.
Like a white plastic sack.
Yeah. I don't know, like a white Walmart bag,
Like a grocery type bag? Okay.
You know,
It's okay. Take a little time.
I don't know, dude. I never thought that this would be my life. I never thought that anything that has unfolded in my life would be my life. But it is. And it's all from a man that I just should have stayed far, far away from.
Are we talking about Leroy?
Yeah. I didn't understand. I told him I didn't want. He needed to do something else with this. That this was my home and mine and the children's home that I didn't want. No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing what?
Because he told me, he's like, you're going to help me put him down below. And I was like, no. I was like, no, dude. So it was the dumbest idea he ever had on top of just killing him.
When the detectives tell Casey, you've already decided to give us your side of the story, they're framing her disclosures as an extension of a decision she has already made. According to self-perception theory, people infer their own attitudes and identities from their past behavior. By emphasizing that Casey has chosen to talk and that her story shows she doesn't see herself as responsible, they nudge her to continue speaking in a way consistent with that self-image. I'm not the monster. I'm the one explaining. That keeps her talking even when the content is self-incriminating.
We will be 100% frank with you. The charge that we are charging tonight is not going to go away. Okay. That being said, it is so important for us to have your side of the story because we will get a greater understanding of what actually happened and how involved you actually were. This is obviously a very serious situation.
I didn't want a role in it.
I know, but you ended up in it.
Yeah, because the man told me to hurt me if I didn't help him.
Okay, and this is what we're getting at is these details.
When detectives asked about the crawl space beneath her apartment, Casey Bach didn't flinch.
I have no association with the crawl space.
Calm, dismissive, unbothered. The detective didn't push back. Not yet. He simply asked the question she never expected.
When we open the crawl space up, what are we going to find in there?
That one sentence shattered her confidence. Welcome back to my channel. I don't have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me. On a cold spring night in early 2022 in Aurora, Colorado, the quiet of small apartment complex had a nightmare unfolding behind closed doors. Around 1 a.m., Carl K.J. Beeman arrived at the back door of Casey Bach's unit, unaware that his longtime friend Leroy Crawford was waiting inside. The apartment was dim, music blaring to drown out the noise. Fueled by paranoia and convinced KJ was snitching, Leroy ambushed him with a shotgun, a hammer, and finally a wire pulled tight around his neck. Casey, terrified and trapped after years of abuse, watched pieces of the assault unfold. By dawn, KJ was dead. The next morning, under gray Colorado skies, Leroy forced Casey to help drag the body into the crawl space beneath her bedroom. Over the next 2 days, he returned with cement, sealing the grave and their secret. For nearly a year, KJ remained hidden until police brought Casey in for interrogation.
All right, Casey. Like I said, we can explain to you everything that we have going on, okay? I would ask you, I'd kind of like to open it up to you. Do you think that there might be a reason that you would have some detectives talking to you like this, asking you questions?
No.
No? Is there nothing you can think of at all?
I know that my children's father got arrested by Arapahoe County and is getting charged with charges that he did not commit. And I know that I live next door to National Security and they have been drilling holes in my walls and spying on me. And I know that Aurora is not the kindliest for police brutality, making up stuff. I've been dealing with this for about a year. I'm a Colorado citizen, like born and raised here. This is my first time ever in Aurora, and it has ruined my life.
Okay. Has anyone treated you poorly today?
No.
Okay. Everybody's been respectful.
I've been respectful and just trying
Great.
to get over it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Well, I'll just start by laying it out like this. We are part of the major crime section. Okay. We handle a whole gamut of crimes to include missing persons cases. There's been some information that we've received, and we have a search warrant for your apartment. We have a search warrant for your kind of part of your building as well. I'll kind of start by asking, who do you normally leave your kids with, or who do you?
I don't have anybody.
You don't have anybody? Okay. Is there somebody that you've left your kids with in the past?
Well, yeah, but
Okay. Who is that?
my mother.
Your mom. What about anybody locally or any friends of your
I don't
kids?
have anyone locally. My children don't have any friends here. I don't have any friends here. I keep to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Detectives begin by asking casual, low-pressure questions about Casey's life, children, and daily routines. This isn't small talk. It's to establish her baseline demeanor, speech pattern, and normal emotional tone. Under cognitive load theory, when someone lies, the mental effort increases, disrupting their baseline behavior. By first observing her relaxed state, detectives later detect when the truth becomes harder for her to maintain.
All right. So there's nobody that your kids stay with every once in a while or anything like that? Okay. Is there any reason somebody would tell us something like that?
I got a job a few months back. My daughter did have a friend at school, and I knew that she lived in the same apartment complex. So I walked up to this lady and asked if she could help me because I needed a babysitter. We became friends, and somebody broke her window, I'm guessing, here a few days ago, and she thinks it's me.
Okay. Why would she think it was you?
Because I just told her a few days prior, as I seen all these undercovers around, to basically fuck off.
Oh, you told this person to fuck off. Okay.
And I told her to
What's
stay
her
away
name?
from me and my children.
Okay. What's her name?
Sierra.
Okay. So why did you tell Sierra to stay away?
Because I caught her in a lie.
And what was that? What was the
Something
lie?
as simple as she wasn't in the back of her car when I seen her in the back of her car. If you're going to lie about one thing, what are you lying about?
What do you mean by that? She wasn't in the back of her car.
I seen her in the back of her car.
Okay.
And this day there was a bunch of undercovers around outside. I've been going through a lot for a year. Like I said, I'm not naive to what's around me, and I'm not naive to the world trying to set people up either. I'm just trying to keep me and my children safe.
And I understand that might be difficult. The father of your children, who is that? You said he's currently arrested. Can you tell me who that is?
Mr. Crawford.
Okay.
When Casey goes on long, chaotic tangents about police harassment and conspiracies, Detectives let her talk. According to reality monitoring theory, truthful memories contain sensory and contextual details, while fabricated stories rely on logic, rehearsed structure, and vague claims. Casey's rambling, detail-poor narratives signal deception. The longer she talks, the more contradictions emerge, and the detectives use every inconsistency against her later.
Our concern is that it sounds like you may have made some statements about somebody being buried in your apartment. Okay, I'm gonna cut to the chase. Okay, that's why we're here. That's why we ended up having a search warrant for the apartment. We also understand that the circumstances seem a little bit odd, which is why we're trying to be very accommodating to you. We're going to make sure the kids are taken care of, like all those things. You know, SWAT team didn't just blow the house open or anything like that. You know, we understand that it's kind of an odd situation. So that's why we're kind of going about it the way that we are.
There's statements of what now? Of I've buried?
Not necessarily that you have buried, but we have heard that you made statements that there might be somebody buried in your apartment. More specifically, there's like a crawl space under your apartment.
There is a crawl space. I've locked it because I'm terrified of that.
Okay.
There's people who go under there all the time, just messing with me and my kids. It's kind of scary.
Okay.
A backstory on me is in Arvada, I had doors kicked in my faces. I was almost killed by a Banditos biker.
I'm sorry.
That's why the arrest warrants, those all happened in this same time of my life. Okay, I'm running. I ran to Aurora so nobody would find me as this man's about to get back out of prison.
Is that Mr. Crawford?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't.
Fine.
I mixed up what we were talking about. That's the person who was in this Bandito. Is that correct? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about the crawl space a little bit, okay? Because specifically, that's what's come up. You said you put a lock on it.
Yeah.
When did you put a lock on it?
Months back.
Detectives don't immediately reveal what they know. Instead, they strategically release small pieces, mentioning a search warrant, the crawl space, and vague statements from others. The SUE technique shows that withholding evidence forces suspects to commit to a version of events. Once Casey's story is locked in, the detectives can confront her with contradictions, making escape nearly impossible.
We're not trying to make light of the situation. We're not trying to insult you. We're just trying to get some background, okay? And I'm just trying to have a conversation with you so I can get an understanding about you, okay? And I promise I'm going to get to the point here, all right? But I'm just trying to get some background information on you, and that way we can have a good conversation about this, all right?
Some background about me. Would you like to know the background?
Because I've never met you before. That's why. And to have a conversation with you, I have to ask questions about you. Okay, so let's kind of back up to what's happened with you and Sierra over the past, I don't know, a couple weeks or whatever, when you told her to fuck off. Was there any specific, other than you saw these undercovers, was there any specific incident that made you feel like that, or was it just her being in the back of her car?
No, it was just her lying about being in the back of her car.
Okay. And that upset you because you thought there were police around there?
No, there were police around.
Okay.
There was undercovers all over, and I didn't understand. And I don't know why she would lie to me about not being in the back of her vehicle when I, clear as day, was right behind her and seen it.
And why did that worry you?
Because I don't like being lied to, for one.
Okay. I mean, anything else? Did you think she was like working with the police, or did you think, I mean,
kind of. The only reason the girl puts stuff in the back of her car is to move car seats so all 4 children can fit in her vehicle.
when you say all 4 children, you mean
My children,
your
my
kids? And her
children.
kids? Okay. How many times did she take your kids? Or
A few different times.
The detectives maintain a calm, respectful tone, repeatedly assuring Casey that they're not trying to insult her or make light of her situation. This is classic rapport-based interviewing, reducing perceived hostility so the suspect feels less defensive and more likely to talk. By appearing understanding, they lower her psychological guard and increase cooperation.
Call that you mentioned. Would that have been at a time before you lived in the apartment that they were used to seeing him around, or?
No, it's not. It's never been a frequent thing that KJ's been around.
And I understand young kids. I mean, sometimes kids say.
I mean, he's just an awesome person, dude. Even my children remember him for quite a few different reasons.
Okay. So would you call your relationship with between you guys close? I mean, obviously close enough that your kids like him.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Okay. And it's not strange to you that he's just vanished, gone off the face of the earth?
I didn't know he was gone off the face of the earth. I don't keep track of my children's father's people.
Okay. Well, you just said you hadn't seen him for this amount of time.
He's not my friend. He's not my friend.
But he's, as I mentioned before, he's close enough that your kids call him Uncle KJ.
Because he's my children's father's best friend.
Okay. I understand that. I'm just trying to connect.
I don't have friends in my life, so that means my children don't have people in theirs. So when a big fat man comes around and makes my children laugh, and dad's laughing with them, and they talk about and reminisce about times from 20 years back, like, of course my children are going to remember that.
So they see Dad happy and they see Uncle KJ happy, and they
People don't visit us at our home. People have never visited us, so the very few people that have, my children remember.
So he did visit you at your home.
But now we're talking about 2020, dude. Like,
okay, we keep going backwards. I'm sorry, I can't. Keep
my
those years straight.
children haven't seen him in a while.
Once Casey contradicts herself, like claiming KJ never knew her address, but later saying he visited, the detectives gently call out the inconsistency. This leverages cognitive dissonance theory, where a person feels psychological discomfort when their beliefs and statements conflict. To reduce the discomfort, suspects often reveal more information or shift closer to the truth.
Casey, we have good reason to believe that Carl's dead and that you had a hand in burying him under your apartment.
You guys know how big this thing is, right?
You didn't do it alone, though. We have reason to believe you and Leroy took care of him after Leroy killed him in your apartment, and that you helped Leroy bury him beneath that crawl space.
Those are some pretty sick allegations, man.
Tell me about it. We have very good reason to believe that. Like Detective Chamberlain said, we've got a search warrant. We're going to go in there and we're going to be finding out the truth.
The truth.
If Carl's in there.
My children's father is looking at homicide for a man that's alive. And Sierra helped me look at the papers. And it looks like when Leroy was sitting in this jail, when I couldn't find him anywhere, that Aurora did some pretty sketchy stuff. Because nothing on that case looks right. And now I'm hearing this.
I don't know anything about that case, Casey.
I know, but like I do. And it's just kind of scary that now there's...
has nothing to do with that case.
I know, but...
So don't bring it up. Stay focused. Okay?
I didn't help anybody bury KJ. I haven't seen KJ in forever. Leroy hasn't killed anybody at my house. I have children at my house.
Detectives repeatedly reference Casey's children, her safety concerns, and Leroy's control over her. They're triggering effective forecasting bias, where people predict emotional consequences poorly and become overwhelmed by imagined outcomes. By emphasizing her vulnerability as a mother and victim, detectives subtly push her toward confession as a way to regain control.
And do you know how specific? I mean, I know that it's kind of hard to say whether it was December or whatever, but
I think it was 2 months after I moved here.
When did you move?
I moved here in February.
February? Of which year?
Last year.
Okay, so not not 2 months ago.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you lived here, who was staying with you?
Just me
Just you?
and the kids.
Okay. You called him Mr. Crawford, and I understand. Does he go by Leroy?
No.
Okay. Did Leroy stay there?
No.
Never?
No.
Did you ever have anyone else who stayed there? Just, and I don't mean necessarily living, but maybe coming and going.
No. Like I said, I've been trying to stay low key.
Okay. Just for my clarification, can I show you a couple pictures and you can just tell me that I'm talking about the right people?
Sure.
Okay. Well, since we talked about,
Sierra.
okay.
Leroy.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm on the right track, all right? That we're not mixing up people or anything. Obviously, you and Leroy have documented history together. So, I mean, that was pretty apparent. And I just want to make sure that we're not just completely off base and talking to the wrong.
By calmly explaining that they will search the crawl space regardless of her cooperation, detectives shape her behavior through behavioral confirmation theory. If she believes the evidence will be found no matter what, she may behave in ways that align with the detective's expectation, often leading suspects to confess or partially admit involvement because resistance feels futile.
That Leroy killed Carl and that he was buried under your apartment. Plain and simple. That's why we're here. Okay?
I told her that.
That's why we're here. Okay? And again, you don't have to say anything. All right? But that has been what has led us to this point. And every time we bring up the fact that he has been murdered and he is under your apartment, you get emotional. All right? You have an emotional response to
I'm
it.
sorry, I got emotional when I see my children's father's picture. That's emotional.
All right. Again, you didn't have. We're gonna take a little break here. Okay.
A break. I'm done talking.
That's fine.
I'm done talking.
Okay, that's okay. And we're just gonna step out then. All right. Again, as we mentioned, you just have this traffic warrant that will get you processed, and hopefully that'll be that. Okay. Now, what I can tell you is we did make it into the crawl space, and we found more or less what we thought. Okay. And I understand you were a little upset with some of the things we were saying. But we would like to come back and speak to you and just not be confrontational, nothing like that. We just want to talk to you, okay?
When detectives mentioned Sierra's statements, you told her a body was buried under your apartment. They're invoking social proof theory. If someone close to Casey already accused her, she may feel cornered and assume others will believe Sierra over her. Knowing she's socially outnumbered intensifies the pressure to confess or shift blame. Underscore. How about
this? Can I show you another picture and maybe you can tell me if you know this person? Okay. KJ? Okay. Do you know his, I recognize the name KJ. Do you know what his first name actually is? Carl. Do you know his last name?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know KJ?
Me and Leroy used to stay with him a few years back when we were homeless.
Okay.
Him and Leroy were best friends.
They were best friends?
No, they are best friends.
Okay. When was the last time you saw KJ? Well, and again, I hate to just beat around the bush. I was hoping that, we could kind of talk about this a little bit more, but our concern is that KJ may have been killed and that Leroy might have either have had something to do with it, might know something about it, something along those lines.
So it sounds like Arapahoe's trying to pin more murder charges on my children's father.
No, it doesn't have.
For his best friend.
It's Jefferson County, and this has nothing to do with Jefferson County.
Jefferson County isn't pressing the charges of the murder of the man who's still alive.
Showing Casey pictures of Leroy and KJ isn't random. Visual stimuli trigger emotional and physiological responses consistent with arousal response theory. Detectives watch her face, breathing, and speech for spikes in emotional intensity, especially when emotional arousal doesn't match her words. Casey becomes visibly shaken when Leroy's picture appears, revealing where her fear is anchored.
So just getting further into our search warrant, and I know I keep kind of edging towards this. Basically, we have some information that there might be somebody buried in there. Okay. Where do you think we would be getting that information?
I'm guessing a female who thinks I also broke her windows, or the NSA across the street, or the girl upstairs who's drilling holes down and spying on me and my children and taking every single constitutional right away from me.
Okay. Well, why would they say that?
Dude, why do people do a lot of things they do?
If I had an answer to that question, I'd probably be a rich person, right?
I don't know why they're doing this. Most females don't like me because I'm prettier than them. So maybe one of her nigger boyfriends liked me and she didn't like that.
Well, in that case, we'll just cut to the chase. Like we're gonna go into the crawl space. Are we gonna find anything in there?
Not for me, no.
Okay, you say not from you. Will we find it from anybody else?
I've never been inside the crawl space. I have no association with the crawl space besides that there was two men standing right next to the entrance of the outside. And the entrance to my house is right there too. I locked the crawl space because I was scared. Okay, like I said, when I moved here, I had banditos looking for me. I've had all sorts of people that have made me scared. I'm not just going to sit there and that's why I moved to Aurora. Like I said, I'm trying to stay low. I didn't let anybody know where I lived.
Okay.
Repeated questions like, what will we find in the crawl space? Exploit the illusion of transparency, the human belief that internal thoughts are more obvious than they truly are. Guilty suspects often panic because they assume detectives already see through them, leading to vague or evasive answers. Casey repeatedly says, I don't know, signaling anxiety and avoidance under pressure.
But as I mentioned, our other detectives were over there and they did go into the crawl space we were talking about and
You found a dead body on the floor?
well, that appears to be what we found.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now what?
Well, that's kind of up to you. That's why we're coming here to talk to you. And we're kind of to that point where obviously we're going to have an ongoing investigation, right? There's a lot of work for us to do. But now is your time. Okay? Now is your time
I don't.
to say your piece.
My piece?
To try to give us, because you're not going to have, it would be unlikely that you're going to have another opportunity to give us your side of the story.
I don't even know anything about this. How would I have to say my piece with what?
Well, let me just, if you don't mind me explaining this to you, can I just sort of lay it out for you?
Please.
So, and just to show you, you talked about people making things up and things being contrived and stuff like that. Well, here's the thing. We got all this information, enough to the point where a judge felt like we had grounds to write a search warrant for this crawl space. And lo and behold, we go in there and we find exactly what we were talking about.
And
Those are a lot of coincidences. And all this information, everything that we have, came from your statements. Okay?
excuse me?
It all came from your statements that were made. That's how we got all of this. Okay?
What statements were those?
You told somebody.
Detectives subtly frame Casey as someone who just helped or knows something, not the killer. This is the foot in the door technique, where small admissions feel safer than full confessions. If she admits Leroy did it, the next step is admitting what she saw or assisted with. Reducing the perceived severity makes cooperation seem like the safer psychological path.
We didn't make this up. We don't.
No, I did not.
Well, we were told that.
Okay.
We were told that. And
You know what,
don't
man?
you just think it? Hey, how about this? How about this? I'm just trying to explain to you how we got to where we got. And now we are where we feel like that we have located exactly what it was that we were questioning about. Would you like me to prove it to you?
No, I don't. I'm good. Dude, I don't know what the hell is going on. I know I've been being followed for a year, and some pretty weird stuff has been happening left and right around me. And,
And Casey, here's the deal. We're trying to be very respectful to you because we don't think that you're the primary person involved in this. We don't. That's why we're being, for lack of a better term, we're being soft. Okay? Because we don't think that you are the person who created this whole mess. Okay? But we do think you know about it. And we do think that maybe you were somehow involved in getting this under here. So this is your opportunity to decide where we're going to go with this.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay? Well, that's the problem. You can't sit and tell me that you don't know anything about it when the whole way we got here was by you telling somebody that this is what happened.
I never said anything to anybody about what you were saying I did.
So by your assertion, somebody made up that you said that this person that you know as Uncle Carl was now buried under your crawl space, and we just go happen to find under that crawl space somebody who I am guessing is going to be Uncle Carl. That's all made up.
I mean, I didn't say that.
That's what you just told me. You just told me all that is made up.
No.
When Casey shuts down and says, "I'm done talking," detectives leave her alone. Silence heightens anxiety. And according to uncertainty reduction theory, humans are driven to eliminate uncertainty. Sitting alone with her own thoughts and fears, Casey becomes more willing to talk, especially once they return with news from the crawl space. Underscore.
We didn't make this up. We don't.
No, I did not.
Well, we were told that.
Okay.
We were told that. And
You know what,
don't
man?
you just think it? Hey, how about this? How about this? I'm just trying to explain to you how we got to where we got. And now we are where we feel like that we have located exactly what it was that we were questioning about. Would you like me to prove it to you?
No, I don't. I'm good. Dude, I don't know what the hell is going on. I know I've been being followed for a year, and some pretty weird stuff has been happening left and right around me. And,
And Casey, here's the deal. We're trying to be very respectful to you because we don't think that you're the primary person involved in this. We don't. That's why we're being, for lack of a better term, we're being soft. Okay? Because we don't think that you are the person who created this whole mess. Okay? But we do think you know about it. And we do think that maybe you were somehow involved in getting this under here. So this is your opportunity to decide where we're going to go with this.
I don't know anything about this.
Okay? Well, that's the problem. You can't sit and tell me that you don't know anything about it when the whole way we got here was by you telling somebody that this is what happened.
I never said anything to anybody about what you were saying I did.
So by your assertion, somebody made up that you said that this person that you know as Uncle Carl was now buried under your crawl space, and we just go happen to find under that crawl space somebody who I am guessing is going to be Uncle Carl. That's all made up.
I mean, I didn't say that.
That's what you just told me. You just told me all that is made up.
No.
When detectives show her the photo from the crawl space, what she insists is just would they trigger System 1, the fast, emotional, instinctual pathway of dual process theory. It bypasses her logical defenses. This emotional jolt destabilizes her composure and makes continued denial psychologically harder to sustain.
I mean, I didn't say that.
That's what you just told me. You just told me all that is made up.
No, yeah, all of that is made up because I didn't say that to anybody.
Well, that's not made up.
What the hell is that?
You tell me. It's under your house.
That looks like 2 pieces of wood, dude. Like,
You're right. That you are absolutely
know
right.
what's
This
going
looks like
on.
2 pieces of wood. What is this?
Do I look like I'm a criminal?
Did we say that?
No.
We didn't say that, did we?
I'm not
We never-
saying you said
We
that.
never accused you of being a criminal. We haven't made any comments.
I would
on-
like my lawyer then.
That's fine. So I'm going to say my piece. You please don't say anything because you asked for a lawyer. We're going to get you booked down in our detention center. Okay?
Am I getting
It's for your traffic warrants right now. All right. That being said, this investigation is going to continue. Okay?
That would be nice.
Detectives tell her she's not the primary suspect and emphasize that now is her chance to explain her involvement. This taps into prospect theory, which states that people fear losses far more than they value potential gains. Casey is subtly shown what she stands to lose, her freedom, her children, creating motivation to speak in hopes of reducing the perceived loss.
Does that mean
Did you look at my past by any chance?
we've looked
Around the time?
we've looked at your criminal history.
Okay. Did you get to see the pictures of what my face used to look like?
I mean, I've seen previous photos of you.
Of the black eye I had?
What are we getting at here?
What I'm getting at is, Leroy had me in a very bad relationship with him.
Okay. We understand that
I
there were
brought-
numerous domestic violence incidents. We definitely understand that.
I brought Leroy back around. I don't know why, because I thought, I don't know, to try our family again. Which didn't work and good.
So when you say you brought him back around, what do you mean?
I brought him to my new house shortly after I moved in.
Okay. Is that on Second there where we were today?
Yes.
Okay.
There was one night he was talking about him and KJ were having problems, and that he thought KJ was a rat and was working with cops, and that it needed to be taken care of.
Okay.
And the next thing I knew, I was coming home from work. And when I got home, he was in my apartment. And KJ was already dead. In my bedroom. And he forced me to help him move KJ.
I'm sure this is very difficult for you.
No, I don't.
When detectives encourage her to give her side of the story, they frame confession as a form of moral balance. Under moral licensing theory, when a person feels morally tarnished, they may confess or partially admit wrongdoing to restore their internal moral identity. This tactic can draw out emotional admissions, especially from suspects who see themselves as victims.
Do you know what had happened?
No. I know I seen a bag over KJ's head.
You saw what?
A bag.
A bag.
What kind of bag?
I don't know. It's just a bag. The white bags.
Like a white plastic sack.
Yeah. I don't know, like a white Walmart bag,
Like
dude.
a grocery type bag? Okay.
You know,
It's okay. Take a little time.
I don't know, dude. I never thought that this would be my life. I never thought that anything that has unfolded in my life would be my life. But it is. And it's all from a man that I just should have stayed far, far away from.
Are we talking about Leroy?
Yeah. I I didn't understand. I told him I didn't want. He needed to do something else with this. This was my home and mine and the children's home that I didn't want. No, we're not doing that.
We're not doing what?
Because he told me, he's like, you're going to help me put him down below. And I was like, no. I was like, no, dude. So it was the dumbest idea he ever had on top of just killing him.
When the detectives tell Casey, you've already decided to give us your side of the story. They're framing her disclosures as an extension of a decision she has already made. According to self-perception theory, people infer their own attitudes and identities from their past behavior. By emphasizing that Casey has chosen to talk and that her story shows she doesn't see herself as responsible, they nudge her to continue speaking in a way consistent with that self-image. I'm not the monster. I'm the one explaining. That keeps her talking even when the content is self-incriminating.
We will be 100% frank with you. The charge that we are charging tonight is not going to go away. Okay. That being said, it is so important for us to have your side of the story because we will get a greater understanding of what actually happened and how involved you actually were. This is obviously a very serious situation.
I didn't want a role in it.
I know, but you ended up in it.
Yeah, because the man told me to hurt me if I didn't help him.
Okay, and this is what we're getting at, is these details are important. To know how you ended up in this awful situation that was not your doing.
Months prior, dude, like, the guy put his hands on me. That's why we got in all of this. Was because he got back on drugs. And he hit me. My eye all up. And I was scared. Dude.
We believe that you were scared. We do. We believe you. We're not saying that you shouldn't have been scared. We absolutely understand. Did he make any statements to you, threats to you, anything like that when this was?
He hurt me if I didn't help him.
Okay. Was any of that ever sent through a phone call, phone conversations, anything like that? Okay.
Anybody over here?
No.
The detectives are brutally honest with her. The charge is not going to go away. Instead of promising release, they offer something more subtle: being heard, understood, and accurately represented. This taps into procedural justice, especially the voice effect. People are more willing to cooperate when they feel they have a chance to meaningfully tell their story, even if the outcome is negative. Casey knows she's not walking out, but she still talks because she believes her narrative might shape how she's judged.
Cement and all that stuff get down there. I know we showed you the photograph. How did all that end up down there?
Because he thought it would be smart to cover him in cement.
Leroy did?
Yeah.
And how long did that take? Did he go and do that night? Or that day? Did he do it over the course of a few days?
I think he did it the next day.
Okay. Do you know where he got the supplies?
No.
Did he dig a hole? He
told me he dug a hole.
Okay. And then what?
No, I told him I refused to go back down there. This was his mess and I didn't want to have anything else to do with it.
So did you ever go after dragging KJ into the crawl space, did you ever go down there?
I had to help move him.
Hey, Casey, look at me a second, okay? I know this is really hard. not easy, I know it. So take a breath, compose yourself the best you can, and just try to walk us through the whole event, from you coming home and finding what you found to,
Is this gonna help me any?
will you
That's
let me tell you this, you've made the decision to give us your side of the story.
They repeatedly ask her to walk us through events from the moment she came home, to seeing the body, to dragging KJ to the cement. This taps reconstructive memory theory, which holds that memory is rebuilt each time it's recalled, not replayed like a recording. As she reconstructs the timeline over and over, new details leak out, inconsistencies appear, and her distance from the crime shrinks. The detectives don't just want content. They want the evolving memory where cracks naturally form.
That KJ was working with the government or the police or something like that. Yeah. Okay. And I know we even discussed this a while back, but what made him think that?
I don't know. Okay. I kept a whole life away from me. I didn't know anything that didn't go on inside that house I didn't know about.
All right, so now that we've gone through that, and I'm sorry I had to back up a little bit there, but now the sun was starting to come up and kids are waking up.
Getting close to waking up.
Okay,
I walked back there and all I seen was KJ on the right side of my toilet, and I had a wire wrapped around his neck, and he was pulling on it from my bathroom, like my shower. He was wrapped around the shower.
Okay, so KJ is being pulled around the neck with this wire, and that wire is wrapped around the shower head, the shower curtain,
shower door.
Shower door. Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what your shower looked like.
It was a sliding stand-up shower.
Okay, with a door, a sliding door. Okay, so it's over the door. So at that point, did KJ look like he was still alive? No. All right. And what made, and I'm sorry, I know this is tough.
What made me think
that? What made you think he was dead? Or how did you know?
Because clearly that's what Leroy wanted that night, was to kill him. And he let go of it.
The wire?
Yeah. And all I remember was he was crying.
Leroy was?
Yeah.
Did he say anything specific that you remember? But he was crying? You'd mentioned that there was something over Carl's head, is that right?
At one point.
Okay, was it at this point?
I don't know. I remember. I'm pretty sure he was covered.
Covered with what?
Because I don't remember seeing his face, dude. I don't remember his face. I don't really want to remember the face.
Questions like, was he stiff or warm? Did you smell anything? What kind of wire was it? What was he wrapped in? Force Casey to move from vague claims to specific sensory details. This exploits schema theory. We use mental templates, schemas, to fill gaps when remembering. A liar often leans on generic schemas. There was blood, he was dead. While a truthful memory carries messy, unstructured detail. Forcing specifics increases the risk that a fabricated story will break against physical evidence.
Back door.
Okay, so because I've been in your apartment, there's the front door.
Paper. Yeah, no one ever came to my front door.
No one ever came to the front door, okay.
So it was the back door. And it was
I just wanted her, she could maybe draw, like, we've been in her apartment, but I just kind of want to know, like, what you mean, like, where he came in. Like, if you could kind of draw, like, if you're looking down on the ceiling, like, what it would have looked like as far as where he came in, where he was hiding.
back door. There's my wall. Here's my kid's room. Here's the hallway, which led to my room. He was right here. This is my front door.
Okay. And this is like where the couch and everything was?
Yep.
Okay.
Couch. Fireplace.
Okay, understood. So Leroy's hiding here. All right, and then KJ comes in this sliding door here.
Yeah, he told me to let him in and to lock the door behind him.
Okay. And then what?
And then I brought KJ in, I'm pretty sure. I was like, hey, do you want to smoke? And that's when I walked past Leroy, and Leroy had my 20 gauge in his hand.
Okay, so now at this point he doesn't have
He didn't have
the 9mm anymore. He's got a 20
he had
gauge
my
shotgun. And remind me, but that was also in the apartment, was it not?
Yes, that was mine.
Okay.
That's the one you guys have.
Yes. Okay.
And he brought KJ back, told him not to do anything stupid, and to get out his hands of me.
So he's pointing the gun at KJ. Okay, and what is KJ doing when he's doing that?
And he was standing there, where his leg was with anger. And Leroy walked around and got behind him in the living room and told him to go back in the bedroom.
And is that your bedroom? The one that's all the way at the end of the hall? Okay.
In the proffer, they have Casey verbally map out the apartment. Doors, hallway, bedroom, shower where Leroy hid, where KJ entered. This uses dual coding theory, which says information encoded both verbally and visually is processed more deeply and is harder to fake consistently. By making her visualize scenes and explain them spatially, they create a richer record that can be tested against scene photos and measurements. Any mismatch can later be used to challenge her credibility.
To be dealt with. I don't want to be putting words in your mouth, okay? So if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No, that's not at all what I said, man.
Okay, I thought you said something along those lines. Maybe I'm mistaken. So what did he say?
God, now I'm just like confusing myself. But I just know I didn't do this.
Okay.
I know that I was scared of a man who had just physically hurt me and had put me through mental and physical abuse for 10 years.
Okay.
When I tried to walk out of my house, he grabbed my arm.
This was the day that this happened?
Yeah, this was when I walked in my house and I seen what was up, which was KJ on my floor dead.
What part of the floor?
It was my bedroom.
Your bedroom. Okay.
You said he was on the bed, right?
No, I didn't say he was on the bed. This is why I'm like, I'm not trying to.
And we're not trying to put words in, just sometimes.
No, but I feel like you guys are trying to confuse me, and
No.
I'm not wanting to be confused. I just want to tell you guys what happened.
Okay.
And then I guess
We're not trying
go
to.
spend more time in prison, jail, whatever it is.
We're not trying to confuse you at all. Sometimes we just get a few things mixed up
He
and we
made
just
me
try to
drag
clarify.
him from where my bathroom-ish area, that's where he was laying. It was like right in front of my bathroom-ish area.
Okay.
Dude, he had a bag over his head. He told me that he was going to hurt me if I didn't help.
Okay. Now this may seem like a silly.
And I dragged him from that area to the cutout that was in my bathroom or my closet.
When Casey gets defensive, I didn't say he was on the bed. You're confusing me. The detectives back off slightly and frame corrections as their own confusion. Sometimes we just get a few things mixed up. This fits politeness theory, where face-threatening acts, like calling someone a liar, are softened to keep the interaction going. They still highlight inconsistencies like where the body was or whether there was a hole, but they do it gently, so she doesn't shut down completely.
I'm in trouble, but KJ was trying to set him up. So I opened the door, and then the next thing I know, KJ had my 20 gauge in his hand. Leroy? Yeah. Did I say KJ?
You said take it.
Leroy had my 20 gauge. Oh, the next thing I remember is KJ was in my bedroom. And Leroy, to me, it felt like it lasted for hours. My kids were sleeping, so it was probably, I don't know, 1 in the morning when KJ got there. I remember Leroy hit him with a hammer at one point in front of my bed. And then he told me to go get a bag. And he said that there was people outside watching the house for him. He ended up trying to use the bag on KJ. And KJ ended up getting out of it. like I said, this lasted for hours. And the next thing I remember is he told me to go wait in the living room. Where I kind of just sat there. I was kind of scared because he said that there was people outside waiting for me if anything did happen. And then the next thing I know is it was getting time for like my kids to be waking up, and I walked in the bathroom, or in my room, and in the bathroom.
They repeatedly ask whether Leroy's threats were ever in texts, calls, or messages. Under the theory of planned behavior, actions are shaped by attitudes, social norms, and perceived control. If she can prove documented threats, it supports her claim that her perceived control was low, that she truly believed she had no safe alternative but to comply. By probing for this, detectives are testing whether her duress narrative is supported by actual behavior or is a post hoc justification.
How you ended up in this awful situation that was not your doing.
Months prior, dude, like, Leroy put his hands on me. That's why we got in all of this. Was because he got back on drugs. And he hit me and he fucked my eye all up. And I was scared. Dude.
We believe that you were scared. We do. We believe you. We're not saying that you shouldn't have been scared. We absolutely understand. Did he make any statements to you, threats to you, anything like that when this was?
He hurt me if I didn't help him.
Okay. Was any of that ever sent through a phone call, phone conversations, anything like that? Okay.
Anybody over here?
No.
The detectives allow her to go into detail about years of abuse, her black eye, and being mentally and physically broken. This taps into learned helplessness. After repeated punishment and lack of escape, a person stops trying to change their situation. By acknowledging her fear, we believe you were scared. They validate the victim identity she's clinging to. Feeling understood as a victim makes her more willing to open up about the worst parts of that night, because it feels like explanation rather than confession.
Like people do wire jewelry.
Yeah.
Wrapping. I want to say it was kind of like that, but more for like some sort of work industry thing.
So maybe a little thicker.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you said KJ was on the ground of the bathroom and Leroy left for 2 days?
No, he maybe pushed him with him. Because in my closet, which was right next to the bathroom, there was a cutout,
Right.
which led to underneath.
So that was that night, or that morning, that night.
That morning night, yeah.
That you helped move him into. Okay. At that point, was Leroy still threatening you, or?
Yeah, he told me that, in his words, we were going to have fun if I didn't help him, which that was
Did you take that to me?
He said that to me before. It's a sexual thing for forcing me to have sex with him.
Okay.
And he said I wasn't going to like it. I remember him telling me that he was hurt me worse than he'd hurt me before. I was scared. He just killed his best friend.
Casey goes on to describe acts done to her by both Leroy and other men in her life, which are too violent to show on camera. Eventually, she gives a final account of that night, ending with what she believes to be the cause of death.
Do you know, I know KJ and Leroy, you said, stole cars together.
They stole a lot of stuff together.
They stole a lot of stuff together, okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, Leroy told me that him and KJ robbed Big Five for all of their guns. I remember, obviously, cars, because he'd sit there and boast about how he just stole this car, or here, Casey, here's a touch screen that's out of this stolen car. like he tried to bring me stuff. I don't know how he got it, but like I had a TV stand at one point. I had a water purifier.
They repeatedly contrast her with Leroy. He just killed his best friend. He did the cement. He made the threats. This framing leans on social comparison theory. People evaluate themselves relative to others. If she sees Leroy as the true monster, she's more likely to admit disturbing behavior because it still feels less bad by comparison. That's how you get someone to describe dragging a body through dirt, yet still feel like the less guilty party.
I obviously have some follow-up questions about some of the things that you said. You said that night KJ was coming over. Did you know he was coming over, or did Leroy say he was coming over?
I don't think either of us knew he was coming over.
Okay. Do you know how he got there?
I think from my Uber. I doubt that there wasn't a car there.
Okay. Had he been driving a car or anything like that? I mean, I know
They both
a long time ago we discussed it. But
They both stole vehicles. That's what they did. Either of them had vehicles.
okay. You said when KJ got there, Leroy saw him through cameras.
Yeah, I had cameras all around my house.
Okay. Is that like a web-based camera or like a recording camera? Or how did that work?
I had a Genie. So,
Was that the brand?
yeah.
So when Leroy saw that KJ was knocking at the door, what was his reaction?
He grabbed his pistol.
Okay, and is that you said the 9mm, is that right?
Yeah. The 9mm you guys took from me, I got that like a month before you guys arrested
Right,
me.
no,
So, he had his own 9mm. And he pointed it at me and he said I was going to do what he said.
So Leroy pointed a gun at you,
Yeah.
the 9mm,
Yeah.
and said, "You're going to do what he
So I
says."
answered the door.
Okay. So you answered the door for KJ.
Yeah, he told me to bring me a chainsaw.
Okay. Was Leroy hiding? Was he in the back? Was he?
No, he was hiding around the corner because they entered through my back door.
Okay, so because I've been in your apartment, there's the
The
front
piece
door.
of paper.
Yeah, no one ever came to my front door.
No one ever came to the front door, okay.
So it was the back door and it was.
I just wanted her, she could maybe draw, like we've been in her
Okay.
apartment, but I just kind of want to know like what you mean, like where he came in. Like if you could kind of draw, like if you're looking down on the ceiling, like what it would have looked like as far as where he came in, where he was hiding.
They keep circling back to the same horror. The wire, the shower door, the bag, the color of his body, the dragging. According to emotional processing theory, revisiting traumatic memories activates the emotional network associated with them, loosening defenses and bringing more raw, unfiltered detail to the surface. Each repetition is more emotionally charged, and in that heightened state, Casey reveals more than she likely intended about her involvement, her awareness, and her choices.
And when you say he said he killed him, what did he say?
They had to. They did it to protect us.
Did he say what that meant?
Or did you take it to him?
Dude, I don't. How did I take it to you? Dude, I don't know. I know how screwed up my baby's daddy is. Okay, his father just died in prison because his dad's a murderer. Like, the dude is twisted in the head. I don't want to talk about this anymore right now.
Okay. We can go ahead and stop for right now. I'm sure this is very difficult.
When she says Leroy killed KJ to protect us, detectives explore what she thought that meant, who us includes, and how she interpreted that justification. This plays into attribution theory, which examines how people explain causes of behavior. By unpacking her interpretation, they show that on some level, she accepted his reasoning, stayed in the relationship, and helped after the fact. That shifts her position from helpless bystander to someone who, at least partly, internalized Leroy's twisted logic, and that's exactly where they want her cornered. During the interrogation, detectives systematically dismantle Casey's shifting stories, from denial to partial involvement to full depiction of a violent murder. By pressing her on sensory and spatial details, bag, wire, crawl space layout, cement, asking for a precise timeline, and comparing her statements with third-party information, Sierra's tip, prior domestic abuse history, evidence warrant, they expose contradictions and force her psychology into a corner. Legally, this builds a cohesive narrative. Casey not only knew of the murder, but aided in concealing the body. The recorded admission of dragging the body and describing concealment under her apartment strengthens the chain of evidence that can support a conviction for accessory or complicity. While public records mention that the main suspect, Leroy Crawford, pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 30 years in prison, to run consecutively with a 16-year sentence for an earlier aggravated robbery, and that Casey Bach, or Casey Bach/Bach, pleaded guilty to being an accessory to a crime and received a deferred judgment in 2023.